Yes, people, welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. Hope you are all well. We're here for the match preview for West Ham versus Leeds. Takes place at the London Stadium, 2:00 tomorrow in the FA Cup third round. I'm joined by Anton from the West Ham Network. Anton, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Buzzing for the FA Cup. It's FA Cup, mate. Third round. Buzzing. Let's get it on, mate. Let's get it on. Buzzing.
Definitely. Let's bring Ed, the Leeds fan. Ed, can you hear us? Can we hear you?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
That is perfect. There we are. Ed from All Things Leeds. Ed, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Ed, we'll start off with you. How have you rated Leeds this season so far?
It's been very mixed. I don't know. It's hard to judge it really because we've had so many players out injured this season. We usually only average 4 injuries a game, but this season it's been absolutely mental. And when we've had a full strength team, we've looked okay. But then, it's with any team really. You take your best players out with injury or COVID, and you're going to struggle. A few weeks ago against Arsenal, we could barely field a full team of professional footballers. So, it's very hard to really judge Leeds United season. I mean, it's been worse than last season, but yeah, with injuries into account, it's not surprising really. As to see how much we've struggled this season.
Yeah, Anton, have you been surprised with Leeds getting the second season syndrome?
I don't know. I think, when you listen to David Moyes talking in the press conference, he's got a lot of respect for Bielsa. I think a lot of Premier League managers do because he's so unique in his style and his approach. And, as much as this kind of North versus South rivalry between West Ham and Leeds, probably predominantly between the fans. I think everyone has struggled in some way, or most people have struggled in somewhat this season. But like Ed said, when you've got a shed load of injuries like Leeds have got, including adding COVID into that, and then you listen to Bielsa in the press conference, and he's kind of saying that Bamford shouldn't play, but probably is going to play. That's how I took from that statement. Then that things aren't going so well at the club.
Do you think Bielsa will be looking to go at the FA Cup full guns blazing, considering you're not going to be anywhere near Europe, you're going to stay up? I think there are 3 way worse teams than Leeds. Do you think that Bielsa will be looking to have a right go at the FA Cup this year, Ed?
Well, he says it all the time. He takes every competition seriously, but he does make changes, and I think we're going to be forced into making changes really because we've got a couple of big games coming up. Against Newcastle, against you guys next week as well. So we kind of need to rest some of our key players. The likes of Rafinha, Jack Harrison, Dan James, and we've got a few options there. Somerville will probably play. You mentioned the striker there. Bamford. It's going to be interesting if he plays or not because we've got no other strikers fit apart from a few under-23s because Joe Gelhardt is now out for a month. Tyler Roberts is out for a similar amount of time. Rodrigo's not back yet. So Bamford, who's just come back from injury, hasn't played a game yet since he injured himself in a celebration a few weeks ago. So,
I could
probably see
a celebration. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he scored against. Who was it against? I think it was Wolves, and he slid down in the celebration and pulled a muscle, which that's the story anyway. So, he injured himself, but it'll be interesting if he plays tomorrow. We can also see Sam Greenwood in the under-23s. He could step up. We've just had a new striker as well, 18-year-old from. Where was it again? Espanyol. I don't think he'll play because he hasn't played any under-23s games or anything. So I don't think we want to just chuck him in the deep end. So it probably will be Bamford, which is going to be interesting. But no, Bielsa will take it seriously. He takes every competition seriously. And I wouldn't mind a cup run as well. I admire your confidence in Leeds United. I'm not as confident. But I do think that we probably will stay up. I think that, 3 teams in the relegation zone right now have a good chance of going down. Newcastle, if they get a few more signings on board, maybe Watford will probably be dragged in there. But I do think we will stay up. And so it would be nice to have a cup competition, just something to shout about, really, because finishing mid-table is quite boring, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's take some of your comments, Liz Series, in the chat. JJ Smith, hope you're well. Pete, hope you are well. Sharky as well. From the Anvil, James, hope you're well as well. Chelsea 5, Chesterfield 1. The comeback is on. To be fair, I did fear for the worst with Chesterfield when they were 3-0 down inside 25 minutes. I thought it could be a cricket score, but well, it might still be. You never know. Come on, you wines, indeed. Anton, we've already had one good cup run this year. Do you think David Moyes will be prioritising another one?
I think predicting what's going to happen tomorrow is going to be really tough because nobody knows who's going to be available. That's the thing. We heard from Moyes' press conference that there is COVID in the camp. It's not as bad as what other clubs have got. However, there is COVID in the camp, so we don't really know what he's got available. But he does have a history so far this season of playing a kind of, quite a strong side. And we're now in the midst of the January transfer window. I've got no doubts at all that we're speaking to people. And if we are speaking to people, then I think he is going to take the competition as serious as he can. I mean, again, you've just got to listen to his press conference, Jake, and he consistently says, I would love to win the FA Cup. I would love it. I would have the biggest smile on my face if I ever did it for the fans. It's been 40 odd years since we've won it. And it would be such a massive feat for West Ham. So what we do know is he's certainly not going to do what Sam Allardyce done several years ago when he fielded a youth team against Nottingham Forest and we got smashed. So he's just going to have to, balance it, I think. But I think predominantly we're going to see a lot of first-team players, maybe with a couple of cheeky surprises from the youth. But again, that falls upon we don't know who has COVID and who can't make the game. I think we believe Fornals is back. I think he should be back for the game tomorrow. But again, that could be down to whether or not he passes a fitness test. Depends on how bad it was that he had COVID. If you think about how Alex Kroll was when he had it, and he was out for months from it. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting one. But I do think he's going to... It's a tough one. You're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. You want to progress, but you don't want to do it to the detriment of the team. And I think in Leeds circumstances, because there are several more injuries to big players, then it's going to mean that you probably have no choice in the matter but to field quite a dramatically different side. However, we've seen by the results today, it's the FA Cup and anything can happen. Anything can happen in it. So for me, it's it is a one-off game. You throw form out, you throw Premier League form out, you throw how things have been going out, and it's an opportunity for clubs to kickstart their season again at this time of the year.
Yeah. Ed, when you look at it, I mean, you do leak goals for fun, and we saw that when we played you earlier on in the season when we beat you in the last minute, and it almost felt like Leeds just ran out of steam in the last 20 to 25 minutes. Is that a regular occurrence week on week?
Not really. I think our team is probably the fittest in the league. Really, I just think, it is what it is. I think some games at the start of the season we were just playing really, really poor compared to our usual standards. But we've picked up in recent weeks. Played really well against Burnley last time out, winning 3-1. And we have seen, a few improvements in the past few weeks. Obviously, we got bad 7-0 at Man City and then got battered by Arsenal as well. So those were good. But I think the few games before that, we picked up a few surprising draws, a win against Crystal Palace. So we are looking back to ourselves, really. But, just with this press conference that's been, with all the new injuries that have come out and, Calvin Phillips and Liam Cooper not being back for another few months, it's kind of just upset a lot of Leeds fans a bit more, I think. We're getting our hopes up. We just beat Burnley 3-1 and now, we got even more players out, which isn't great. So, but I think it'll be interesting tomorrow. I do hope both teams put out, a somewhat strong team. It'll be good to have, a really good game and not just two under-23s teams play each other. But, that could be the case, to be fair.
Can I just ask you a question, Ed, if you don't mind, Jake? One particular player I was really impressed with when we played you last time out was the keeper, Meslier. He's a great goalkeeper. Has he kept you in a lot of games this season? Has he kind of continued the form that he's been in? Yeah,
he has. He's been unbelievable. I think a few people would look at, the results against Man City 7-0 and be like, oh, the keeper's conceded 7 goals there. But no, he's been phenomenal. Meslier, I think he's 22 years old, could be 21. He's fantastic. He's a phenomenal goalkeeper. He's going to be, I said it a few years ago when he started playing in the first team at Leeds, he's going to be one of the world's best goalkeepers in 5 years or so. He's that good right now, and he's so young still. Goalkeepers don't really hit their prime until, they're 28, 29. So he's going to be world class in a few years. He's a phenomenal goalkeeper. He does keep us in games. It makes, incredible saves. Obviously, he's a young goalkeeper, so he will make a few mistakes here and there, but overall, he's a phenomenal goalkeeper. And I just thought that we keep hold of him, to be honest, because you look at a few people in the Leeds team, Rafinha, Calvin Phillips, thinking, well, they'll probably might leave if Leeds finish mid-table. But Illan Meslier, he's one who I'm surprised no big clubs have come in for him yet, because he's a fantastic goalkeeper.
That's interesting, because I see many football fans, because we were linked with Meslier. How true that was, it probably wasn't in the summer, and a lot of West Ham fans that I think he's a liability, and it's interesting to hear that view. And a lot of people have said he's not the most commanding around his box. Is that true?
Yeah, I think in some cases you do see it, but you've got to remember he's French and he's 22 years old. Like you got, he's not going to be the finished article yet, but with the amount of world class saves he makes, and some of his decision making is spot on. So when you put everything into consideration, he's a fantastic goalkeeper, and one which a big club probably should be coming in for. He's definitely not a liability. He will make mistakes like every goalkeeper. Every goalkeeper makes mistakes, but yeah, when you factor in everything about Meslier, how young he is, he's French, he will make mistakes, but overall he's an incredible goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I do like him. I think I've always I've always particularly rated him, and I love the fact that Bielsa's given him an opportunity at such a young age. You don't see many Premier League managers give young goalkeepers an opportunity. It's very rare, but you'd see it a lot in Italy. If you think about like Donnarumma, for example, I mean, I think he's got 200 appearances under his belt, and he's only in his mid-20s, and he's got so many caps for Italy. And I was impressed, because in actual fact, yes, I think West Ham played well against Leeds last time out. We turned the game around on its head. But I think Meslier, kept Leeds in that game, because the score could have been a bit higher in that game as well. But yeah, I think he is a good keeper and one to watch.
Yeah, and we were kind of forced into playing him as well when he was so young, because at the time our other goalkeeper, Kiko Kasir, got a ban for racism. So we were kind of forced to play him, and he put in so many good performances that were just like, well, stay with him. He's playing well. Why not just keep him in there? And now we've got 4 goalkeepers at the club, and none of them are older than 22 years old. So, yeah, we kind of have to play a young goalkeeper.
Well, we linked with Meslier. I think his name cropped up amongst the likes of Areola, Johnston, Meslier, these kind of keepers we were linked with before we signed Areola. Of course, I really rate him. Think he's superb. Very young keeper. He's quality. Great modern day keeper. Anton, what are you expecting to see from our lineups? I mean, we don't know. Are you expecting to see along the lines of Ashby and Noble, or something a bit stronger than that?
I kind of don't doubt. I think Noble will start. I really do. I think that the fact that West Ham are pushing the Mark Noble sentiment in the FA Cup, I don't think it's just about the sentiment. I think we wouldn't play a player if he wasn't capable of turning up on the day. And what we're currently doing with Mark Noble this season is playing him if and when we need to, because he'll turn up and do a job. So we're managing his circumstances and his situation. Last time out, he had a fantastic game for West Ham, and I think he is more than capable of stepping in to that. Because remember, Jake, we've got game after game after game coming up again, because obviously I think we had one postponement game, and that's the Norwich game happening midweek as well. So I do think there'll be some changes. I expect Areola to start in goal. I expect there to be a slight twist in the defence, but I certainly don't think it's going to be Alessi and Baptiste. I think we'll probably see Diop and Dawson, because the amount of times, Jake, I've turned around and gone, we've got 4 games coming up in a week, and I think we need to rest one of those players, and then we go into the game and one of those players has never rested, and we've gone out and gone full strength. So again, it comes down to who's going to be fit. So if Dawson, Diop are fit, I think they'll both start. I don't think we'll see Creswell. We could see someone like Longello come in. That would be quite nice. I think that would be a kind of a good change. Possibly Ashby, but then you're now talking about 3 big changes between the keeper and 2 defenders. And I don't know if Moyes will do that. But again, it falls upon whether or not who's going to make the game or not.
Yeah, definitely. Let's take some comments. Is the cup draw tomorrow? It is, and the draw will take place Sunday, the 9th of January, which is tomorrow. Will be broadcasted live on ITV at around 10 to 5 on Sunday before Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. So that's when you can hopefully see West Ham being pulled out of the hat there. But anything could happen, and I'm sure Ed would oppose that. But Lawrence, hope you're well. Kevin Friend is having another shocker. What a surprise! Are you going to the game? We are. Oh, let me click on it. That would help. Are you going to the game? No, we aren't. We are going to the league game now, so that should be good. Who do you want to get in the draw? Well, Millwall now out because they got turned over by Palace. Anton, any names that you'd like to see?
Well, if we get through, that is. I want us to get through first. I mean,
yeah, I'm going to say, but the disrespect talking about the disrespect talking about the draw already.
Oh, I love it. I can see Ed's face there. He's like, "What? Have we played the game yet?"
Apologies.
If we do get through, I mean, you know what? The bigger they come, the harder they fall. I watched a little bit of your show last night, Jake, and I know people are saying it'd be nice for us to get kind of some of the smaller minnows, you could call it, but as we've seen today, these teams turn up and they you know, it doesn't matter what league you play in, but if you play against a Premier League team, these teams take their level to that level for one game and one game only. And then people get carried away and go, oh, well, put Kidderminster in the Premier League and they'll do all right. Well, no, they won't. It's just one game, but they can raise their game to that level. And I'm a kind of fond believer of the bigger they come, the harder they fall. And if you're going to win it, then you may as well win it in style. So whoever gets through the game tomorrow, just bring it on. Because do you know what, Jake? There's nothing worse than when you get some of the minnows, you could say, and then you get into like the quarterfinals or the semi-finals, and then bang, you get some of the big teams, and already the fan base start to think negatively about that game before you go into the game, and then you know that kind of emulates and goes all the way through down to the players, the team, all that sort of stuff. So bring it on, whoever they are.
It's only fair, Ed, if I ask you who you want if you go through.
I haven't really given it a thought, to be honest, because I'm fully expecting us to lose tomorrow, to be honest. But no, looking at it, I think you know someone lower down, you know, in the lower leagues, really, you know, yeah. I just think, you know, it's the magic of the cup, isn't it? So you want to, you know, see your team play someone who you don't usually, you know, see them play against. You know, when we're back in the Championship, we were like, well, get as a Premier League team at Ellen Road, get a good day there. But you know, I think someone in the lower leagues, you know, get them at Ellen Road, nice, comfortable game, you'd hope. But you know, we need to see what happens tomorrow first.
Exactly. Southampton away, that would be perfect because you know that's just down the road, so that would be lovely. Just made a cup of tea and watched 3 minutes of the Mars singer. Don't watch that absolute tosh. It's just it is just absolute tosh. Watch this NWO. That is absolute rubbish.
I like the Masked Singer.
Pardon?
I like the Masked Singer. I think it's a class show.
Apologies.
I love it.
Apologies. Right, we're going to predictions a little bit later on, but I completely forgot what I was going to say because the Masked Singer has caught me in my tracks. I completely forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, Leeds have sold out their ticket allocation. 9,000 Leeds fans. Can you see trouble, Ed?
Yeah, well, I am actually going to it. So hopefully there isn't any trouble. But you know, 9,000 Leeds fans in London. It's going to be a bit messy. to be honest.
Yeah, and you're going to bring another 3,000 back down a week later.
And there's going to be 9,000 in the away end, but how many Leeds fans are going to have snuck into the home end as well? You got a question. So
well, we all know that's very easy to do at the London Stadium. So
yeah. I mean, to be fair, you could just stroll onto the pitch past some stewards. Honestly, they literally fall asleep on the job. Some of them, I've seen one literally falling asleep pitch side. Dawson out with injury, possibly. We've heard, Anton. It's broken the last couple of days that Dawson's been actually playing with a minor injury in the last few weeks.
I've seen that, but the thing with Dawson is that I think we've had this story about for 3 or 4 weeks, and every single week we go, well, if Dawson's not going to play, we'll play him, and then who turns up? Craig Dawson. So Craig Dawson's just made of like the old school Premier League central defender mindset. I think he can just keep doing what he does. I don't doubt it for a second. I think he can just keep turning up. But you know what? Until the team sheet's put out, I really don't know. I mean, Moyes never made any allusion to the fact that Dawson had an injury. He just spoke about COVID. 9 times out of 10, he would say if a player wasn't potentially going to make it, especially from his press conference, or allude to the fact that a player isn't going to make it. That's why he always talks about Creswell. That's why he's always spoken about Zuma making a return, maybe sooner rather than later. So I don't know. I think he'll make it unless something happens or unless it's COVID related.
Somebody's comments, just give Donkey extra carrots. Honestly, on a serious note though, Anton, I like Craig Dawson. He's come in, and I honestly think he's a scapegoat. Because he's English, because he's a defender.
Yeah,
and
you don't need to convince me, Jake. I completely agree with you, because I do think many a fan, and I'm not digging out individuals, I think many a fan always look for a scapegoat, especially, I mean, if when we play a game and we concede a goal, all hell breaks loose and we're trying to find a player to blame. Sometimes it's just football, and that's just what happens. And in a game, is you're going to concede goals, you're going to score goals. But for me, we need to remember where we are, who we are, and how far we're punching in this league. And we're kind of being consistent at what we're doing. And you've got to think, there he is. You've got to remember though, Jake. I mean, he's came in and been a pivotal part as to the reason why we are where we are. Not the only reason, and nobody expected it. And I certainly don't think he was brought in to be a number one. However, he is, when called upon, I would say 9 times out of 10 he's done a job. And I don't think he's made more mistakes than any other defenders. I really don't. I actually think he's a really big threat going forward. And I think Leeds kind of tend to struggle from set pieces, don't they?
Yeah, certainly.
Ooh.
So I kind of think to myself, like, Dawson is a huge threat going forward. The likes of Souček, you might even see Noble and Souček, and Rice might sit out this game tomorrow, but Rice wants to play all these games, so I don't know. But if it was Noble and Souček, then you might see Souček push further forward, and then you've got Souček and Dawson hitting in that 18-yard box, and that's going to cause any of these teams a problem. So yeah, no, I'm not going to go on the Craig Dawson scapegoat. He's my man. I back him up.
Definitely. Ed, can you see Leeds going full strength tomorrow, or do you reckon the feelers are just going out and Marcelo Bielsa's getting ready to go as full strength as possible when we play you in a week's time?
I think we're going to have to make some changes, really. With the amount of first team injuries we have, we need to keep players fit and ready for the next couple of Premier League games coming up. I think we'll see the likes of Jack Harrison and Adam Forshaw still start, and a few first teamers there. But I think a few youngsters will be put in. The likes of Somerville. Maybe Lewis Bate, he could start. He's been on the bench past few games. Simon Greenwood up front instead of Bamford. I hope. I don't really want Bamford to be chucked straight in, to be honest, in case he gets injured again. I think we kind of have to play a few 123s just to rest the likes of Rafinha and Dan James and Bamford and a few other defenders as well. But I think it'll be mixed. I think it'll be mixed. A mixture of youth and then a mixture of a few experienced players.
Yeah.
I always think like it's an opportunity as well. This is something that even for West Ham, not just for Leeds, but also for West Ham, if players are out, people underestimate the player that's coming in for them. But this player that's coming in for them has an opportunity to impress the manager. And sometimes you find a diamond in the rough, and these players need to step up. So if a player turns up tomorrow and goes, "This is my opportunity. This is my one," there's going to be players playing for Leeds tomorrow because of your injury problems that don't normally get a look in, and this time of the season wouldn't have normally had a look in. So this is the kind of opportunity. This is the window of opportunity, and players are going to turn up. That's why I can't look at this game and go, well, they've got 8 or 9 injuries. This is going to be an easy shoe-in for West Ham, because I don't look at it like that. I just think for me, it's like, as long as we respect the opposition, Jake, we know that West Ham have a problem when we respect the opposition too much. That it's a bit like we hand the game to them, but we don't want to disrespect the opposition equally too much, because by doing that and expecting it, then we kind of get a shock. I think Moyes takes each game as they come exactly the same, exactly serious, and he's going to explain to the players, you need to turn up, do the job, work hard. The first and foremost thing is you've got to work hard. But the funny thing is, we're coming up against a manager like Bielsa, and like you said, Ed, you've got some of the craziest stats, or have had the craziest stats in the league, running stats. I mean, I think your players have go all over the pitch, all over the time, run about 20k in a game or something like that. It's probably an exaggeration, but that's the engine that we're going to need to watch tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's have a look at some of your comments. I am going to scroll up. Dawson would have been a better Texas Ranger. Dawson is an easy target. He is an easy target. Dawson's great old school player. He's quality, but still a donkey. I thought I'd try and convince you, NWO, but it looks like
NWO, I will say that I do think Dawson is a scapegoat, but I'm not going to sit here and go on the Ogbonna attack, but I think Ogbonna on his day can also be a donkey, and because it's Ogbonna, people are scared to say it, but it's true. We've had issues central defence, and that's where teams can get at West Ham, no matter if it's, that's why we are probably panicking, because we've lost Zuma, we've lost Ogbonna, we've got Diop, we've got Dawson, but let's not beat about the bush. We have struggled in the central defensive area for 6, 7, 8 years maybe, and we've never really sorted that problem out. He tried to sort it. We thought it was. We got 2 quick succession injuries, and it's still a problem. So I think we need to sort that out soon rather than later.
Yeah. Before we go any further, if you're enjoying it, drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel. Check out our channel sponsors, SRM, Clever and Son, by clicking the link in the description. You could become a member as well of the channel if you like, by clicking the link in the chat for extra perks and all that jazz. JJ says, but I think he's consistently been really good. Hi Jake, Craig Dawson has done well. I think he was probably in the top 5 most important players for us last season. He probably was. Lee says, I love the way he attacks the set pieces. Okay, a couple of own goals, but he's done brilliant for us. What a steal Craig Dawson was. Definitely. Freshfield, I hope you well. Is Rafinha match fit? He's a threat from Leeds. Do you expect, if he is fit, for Rafinha to be involved tomorrow, Ed?
I hope not, because I do kind of want him to to have a bit of a rest, because he has been running his absolute socks off in the past few weeks. Yeah, he is fit, and he's a very good player. He carries this team most weeks. He's an incredibly skillful player. He's fantastic to watch. So yeah, I do hope he is rested tomorrow, to be honest, because it is a cup game. Just give Somerville a chance, because he's a really good youngster who also livens things up. So yeah, Rafinha, if he is fit and he does play, and he will cause you a few problems, but I'm hoping that he does get rested.
Yeah, Dawson lacks a bit of pace, which hurries him into making mistakes. He's a good player, though. I mean, we all knew when we were going to be signing Brexit Craig Dawson, we were never going to get pace with him. What time is the game? So it's 2 o'clock kickoff. Yep. I think it was 2:15 or 2 o'clock. One of them.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yeah, it was brought forward from 2:30, wasn't it?
Oh, I see. Ed, from the players that you expect to start, who is the one player that we should be fearing the most?
Oh, I think I'm expecting Jack Harrison to play, and I think he could be someone who might cause you a few problems because he scored in the last game against Burnley. He played very well in that game, and I think that would have given him a confidence boost. To be honest, players, they play off confidence. Confidence is a massive thing for players, and the last game against Burnley was fantastic. So I think he could be well up for the game tomorrow if he does start. But yeah, it's very hard to predict who's going to start, to be honest. I can't really give you a solid answer on that. As I say, if Rafinha starts, he's probably going to be the most threatening player. Dan James, with his pace up front, he could cause a few problems. Adam Forshaw, I'm expecting him to start 100%. He's been incredible in midfield. He's come back from injury this season after not playing a league game for 2 years, and he's been superb. He's been so surprising. Because during the summer and last season we were saying get another midfielder in just for backup, in case Calvin Phillips gets injured, which he is, unfortunately. But Adam Forshaw's come straight back in, playing in the Premier League for the first time in years, and he's been so good for us. So it could be an interesting midfield battle tomorrow. If Adam Forshaw's on his game, then it's all about midfield. I think if you guys play Declan Rice and Souček, if we do well against those two, then we could give you guys a good game. But definitely going forward, I think Jack Harrison could cause you a few problems if he starts. Also Dan James and Rafinha. But I don't really know who's going to start, to be honest. So I can't really give you a solid answer on that.
This is harsh. Ask this geezer which Leeds players we should sign when they go down this season. Apologies for that, Ed. I don't think you'll go down, but I
Calvin
like
Phillips.
Dan James, Firpo.
You won't want Firpo.
Is he that bad?
It was man of match against Burnley. He was very good against Burnley, but the games he played in before that, he was questionable. He wasn't, especially against Brighton a few weeks ago. He just picks up silly yellow cards, which is infuriating. He's, he hasn't been the £12 million player from Barcelona we were expecting. Let's just put it that way.
Right, I was gutted when he went to Leeds. I was going to be honest. I thought he would have been a good fit.
We were strongly linked to him.
Yeah, but that might have been wise to stay away. Anton, who are you expecting to stand out tomorrow?
Oh, the keeper. I do. I really do rate the keeper at Leeds. And I listen, again, it comes down to, I don't know who's going to be available or whatever, but West Ham have come off 2 good victories in the league. Apart from a little dip in form, things are still looking a little, are looking okay. I think no matter what side we put out, we always will test the keeper. So I think he's the one we're going to have to watch, because I think if he's on form, then he's going to, make a solid wall and stop West Ham scoring goals. Meslier, the keeper.
And for us, who's going to stand out?
I mean, a tough one, but I think if he starts Bowen, he's David Moyes has said week in and week out, he's probably one of the only players that could play every day, not just 3 games a week. He's just got it in his tank, and he's able to do it, and he's just getting better with every single game that he plays. He can play through the middle, he can play out on the side, out in the wing, he cuts in, he tracks back, he can get by players, no problem. He can score goals from distance, he can score goals inside the box. So I think Leeds are going to have, I think any team's going to have problems with Jared Bowen, to be honest. I think that'll be the man you need to watch tomorrow.
Yeah. And he loves playing against Leeds as well. I remember playing against him when he was at Hull. It causes all sorts of problems. He's a very annoying player to play against.
Yeah, and comment of the day does go to James from the Anvil. Oh, where's it gone? There it is. Junior Firpo is the Estrella Eric Peters. That is purely clip style. That is, I mean, purely. FA Cup should be taken seriously. Definitely, this is quite a high profile tie, so we need to play a strong-ish team. Anton, we've got a very success or. We can, let me word that right. We can have very good success in the next month. We have got Leeds at home, Norwich at home. We've got Man United away, who look beatable at the moment. We've got Watford at home. We've got some very beatable teams in the next month. And do you think it's wise just to not go full strength and let's concentrate on catching the Arsenals and that back up in the Premier League?
No, absolutely not. I don't think Moyes thinks like that either. He consistently says he needs consistency in this team, and consistency throughout fitness, throughout motivation, throughout winning games. And, you turn up tomorrow with a half-arsed effort and a half-arsed team, and you get beat tomorrow. There's nothing to say that doesn't snip into the team and start to stick into the team, and things start to kind of having a negative effect moving forward. So for me, I think Moyes, within reason, will put out one of the strongest teams that he can within reason. And I think he needs to go for it, because that is, confidence breeds confidence, success breeds success. But by giving in to a cup competition will not help anyone's motivation or cup competition. Right now, Jake, West Ham are playing out of our skin. And even when we don't play well, we're starting to get results over the line. And that's where you want our team to be. Of course, you want us to play great football. You want us to score goals and all that sort of stuff. But let's just get a victory and let's turn up and put out as strong as we can. And that's why I wouldn't be surprised if you saw, as long as they're not hit by COVID, a really strong West Ham team. I think games like tomorrow, you won't see the likes of Antonio, because, we tend to not play Antonio maybe at this stage of a cup competition. That doesn't mean we won't see him if we were to progress and beat you guys, Ed. But I think we've got enough in our tanks with the rest of the team. It'll be good to see Vlasic. It'll be good to see if he's available. I'm not so excited about Yarmolenko if he does play, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, Yarmolenko. Trev Tube, hope you well. We took the Milk Cup seriously for what, even if we beat the Spurs, whether it be Chelsea, Liverpool, or Arsenal. Yeah, of course, we're going to take this seriously. And the one thing that David Moyes desperately does not want is for us to go out and put out a rubbish side and put in a rubbish performance and be knocked out of the cup, because we can go far in this. I mean, it's not world ending, and it's not extremely difficult to progress quite far in this competition if you get a favourable draw that we haven't had in the last few cup draws. Obviously, in the Carabao Cup, we drew. What was it? We drew Man United, then Man City, then Spurs, and a couple of favourable draws, and then we could be. Anton, you got ahead. Thank you very much for coming on.
No worries. Cheers, Ed. Take it easy, mate. Good luck after tomorrow. Mate. No, actually, not good luck after tomorrow. Good luck after next weekend.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Right then. So we're gonna go on to your prediction then, Ed. What are you going for?
I am fully expecting us to lose. And if you're expecting disappointment, then you're not going to get disappointed. So that's the kind of mindset I'm heading into this game with. Now, I think it's going to be interesting. You can't really predict a cup game, because you don't know who's going to play, and it's the magic of a cup. I'm sure Newcastle went into their game today fully expecting them to beat Cambridge, and they ended up losing 1-0 at home. Yeah. So, you can't be expecting much. Man City last night, I doubt I'm pretty sure they expected to keep a clean sheet, and they didn't. So, cup games, you just don't know what to expect. Which they say it's the magic of the FA Cup. You don't know who's going to play, you don't know who's going to show up, and you don't know what the score is going to be. So all I hope for is that it's going to be a good game. If Leeds lose, so what? I was expecting it. I'm traveling far tomorrow, so I just want a good game of football to watch, to be honest, and I just want to enjoy myself. So, it's very hard to predict this game, but if I was going to say prediction, I'd say 1-1, 2-1. Are they doing cup replays this season?
No, it's straight extra time penalty. So I hope they haven't got a train back straight away after the game.
We got coach back at 7:30. That's a good point. So all right. I'm hoping it's either going to be 2-1 Leeds or 2-1 West Ham. It's going to be something like that. There's going to be a 1-goal difference in the game.
And just a bit of advice: if you sat in the top tier take your binoculars. If you're not, you'll be all right. That is the general rule. Oh, look who it is! Is it past your bedtime, Chris? Because that's the line you usually say on me. Is it that time of the night yet? Here we go. West Ham 0, Leeds 4. What was it when we played you earlier on in the season? 1, 2, 3, 4. When West Ham? Oh yeah. Because I like You like the number 4 because we whacked 4 past you. Dan's had a rant and gone into hiding. Of course he has. Let's have a look. Right, get your predictions in. Let's take your predictions. 2-1 West Ham, 2-1 West Ham, 3-1 West Ham. Very confident. A few more 2-1s, 3-1s. That's what people are going for. I don't know. I think this will be quite tight, to be honest with you. I think we'll win. I think Leeds will score, and the probable option is 2-1 West Ham, which most people are going for. I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham. If Leeds score tomorrow, who is going to be the one putting it in the back of the net, Ed?
That's interesting. Could be a Dawson on goal. You never know. No, I'm not sure. Because I don't really know who's going to be starting up front. If it's going to be, if Bamford starts, he might score. If Rafinha starts, he might score. You just don't know really. So, but no, I do think we'll score. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a tight game, and it's going to be 2-1 to either team. Either 2-1 West Ham or 2-1 Leeds, as I say. Hopefully, there's no extra time.
Hopefully not. If all things go well and we batter you, we'll get you on next week. If we don't, it will be maybe different, but no, we'll get you back on next week if you're available for the Premier League game, which I'm sure there'll be a different approach at. Yeah,
definitely. I think next week we'll be back to full strength teams, and I still think it'll be the same type of game though. It'll be tight next week, but. It'll be interesting. Thank you for having me on. Sounds good for next week.
Thank you very much indeed. And a few things that will be the same. It will be played in the same bowl of a stadium. It'll be the same 2 teams with some different players, so those things will be the same, but I'm sure the outcome may be different. If it's a draw, who do you fancy on penalties? I really like penalty shootouts, but not when West Ham are involved. I get way too nervous. I just can't handle it. I just can't.
Hate penalty shootouts. Absolutely hate them.
but if Craig Dawson whacks one in the back of the net, then I'll be happy. 2-1 West Ham seems about right. 3-3. Honestly, the Dawson hate is mad. Dawson own goal hat trick. Has that ever happened in the world of football? Somebody score a hat trick of own goals?
Probably.
Probably a record Dawson has set. But anyway, we'll leave there. Thanks everybody for watching the chat. Thank you everybody for watching on the replay. And from me, thank you very much. Ed, thank you very much for coming on. I'll catch you next week.
Thank you for having me on.
And from me, come on you irons. Let's hope we can get through to the next round. And catch you in a bit. Cheers guys. Bye-bye.